John Ray Uggan and Big John Tatautau both give Carabao rides at parks in the south. Uggan at Talafofo Bay and Tatautau at Fort Soledad and Umatic. DPR has evicted both men from the parks because they refuse to get a $1,500 vendor's license for parks they say are ill-maintained. Both men say they are doing a good thing for Guam as they share the Chamorro culture with visitors and keep the parks clean. DPR Director Pete Calvo says there are rules and regulations that must be followed. Governor Eddie Calvo told PNC today that he's sympathetic to these men and plans on revisiting some of those rules and regulations.
This is something I want to look into because there are a lot of rules and regulations that are so onerous in this government. I see a lot of redundancies. So this is something I've seen as a senator, now as a governor. There may be ways that we could look towards it through executive order, or it may mean that I may have to send some legislation over to the other branch of government, the policymaking branch, to either repeal or amend some of our current laws and some of our current rules and regs.
Senator Judi Guthertz has already introduced legislation.
So I'm introducing a bill today that would basically exempt those activities that are identified with Guam's history and culture and legacy from having to pay park fees in order to demonstrate their products or their animals and to make our tourists and visitors to Guam happy.
Senator Ben Pangelinan is working on introducing similar legislation. He says it's unfortunate that this is how these local vendors are being treated when tour companies are allowed to bring in busloads of tourists to the local parks for picture taking free of charge.
If the commercial vendor who utilizes the scenic nature of the parks does not have to pay any fee at all to bring his goods and make money with that park, neither should a cultural vendor have to pay to access the park to sell his service or his goods. And so we think this will provide some equity in the treatment of our vendors that utilize the public parks, but much more importantly, continues to enhance the brand we're trying to build with We Are Guam and the traditions and the culture of Guam to be a memorable experience and a unique experience for our visitors.